Hello and welcome to Boomer 11 Live again. It's been a while since we spoke about cricket and we came live, but as you all know, check out our other contents meanwhile. But without further ado, let's get going for today's live. As you all know, it is India tour in the Caribbean islands, and it's that time of the year where we're going to be talking about what to expect out of a new Indian season. Remember, last time when India lost the World Test Championship, we sat on the same forum and we did speak about we do not have a lot of hopes from the Caribbean tour because it's just yet another tour where our hopes are definitely going to go up. But remember, with the World Test Championship, there's at least some sort of added value into these kind of series when you talk about from the previous years and previous eras. But now with the West Indies team, you can say it's a depleted squad, but the Test team is totally unlike the team which we see also on the World Cup qualifiers in Zimbabwe. So let's keep that in mind before we talk about the team today. And of course, the Indian team, a lot of changes, you can say some old faces who are back as the vice captains. And of course, Rohit Sharma is leading the team once again. We will talk about his future as Indian Test captain as well, because here we have no, we're not scared to analyze and pick some people out, especially Indian captains, Indian selectors, chairmen, presidents, vice presidents. So this is a forum, guys, where we talk openly about everything, and you can join and share your thoughts and your opinions as well. How are you, Jen? And what before we get into it, I want to know what has been your favorite Caribbean tour memory of all time.
I think for me, being an Ashwin fan, I know this is not probably something that people always talk about because I mean that was not a West Indian team that we talk about. But then it's always me being. I mean, for me, it's been Ashwin just running through their top order. I think in that one match where Marlon Samuels kept going and kind of was the only thorn in India's side. It was that match where Ashwin took up. I think the very match where Bumrah as well came in and
Yeah,
took a hat trick, if I'm not wrong. So that
but
is
no,
the
no,
one.
no. I think those are two different series.
It is two
The
different
one which you're
series. So
talking
like
about is in
Ashwin,
India, and the Bumrah's one happened in Caribbean, and
no, no,
Marlon
no.
Samuels was
Ashwin
not
one
part
is
of.
not in. It's
Yeah,
in
but
Caribbean.
Marlon Samuels was not part of that series in none of the series since 2016.
So I think this is the tour previous to that, bro, where he scored at 50. I think he was playing
Yeah,
a good
so
knock
there
of
was. I think you're
60.
talking about Jermaine Blackwood there, not Marlon
Yeah,
Samuels.
yeah, yeah. No, it's Marlon Samuels, man. It's dead
No, he
sure it's
wasn't there.
Marlon Samuels.
He wasn't there. I can assure you that. But let's talk about it later. Yeah, you can go ahead.
But yeah, I think those have been the memories for me. But I'm sure this time around it's going to be much more different because
Yeah,
things aren't the same. The West Indies Test cricket in West Indies have
yeah,
gotten a slight improvement. I won't say it's a huge improvement. I wouldn't say that they are really going leaps and bounds, but they aren't
yeah.
playing Test cricket the way they have been, and that's the reason why it's not going to be a very similar situation. The batters
Mhm.
might go through a very similar phase because Indian bowling is that powerful. But what I'm really curious to see is this West Indies bowling attack against a very underconfident Indian batting lineup, but then
Yeah.
and also very inexperienced one if we see some of the young faces come in and play that first match.
Interesting. Because when you look at both the squads as well, India are slightly inexperienced this time around, primarily because of the squad they have put in. They are looking at possibly a complete revamp in their squad, I believe, because of a lot of players, wanting to step in, especially Pujara has been put off the radar. Then you're talking about players like Mohammad Shami given a rest. Bumrah, of course, has missed out on this. Then you have Mohammad Siraj being the spearhead of the pace bowling attack. Then you have Jaydev Unadkat, who's most likely going to play in tomorrow's match, who's going to be there. So these are factors which we have to definitely talk about as we go further into the life. But but what do you really expect out of a tour like this? Because number one, from the World Test Championship final, people have no hopes in Indian team right now because it's very clear that they do not really have any more hopes because every time they put any hopes, they tend to let them down. And it's been happening for 10 consecutive years. And people have reached a saturating point where they've now come in terms that okay, let's just watch them for the sake of it. And this series, literally nobody's even talking about it because people have just lost their interest in it completely. So what do you expect out of it? Because not a lot of people care about it, and hence you see even in today's live, there are very few people turning up as well. Primary
Yeah.
reasons being these are one of the few reasons because nobody really cares about India to the West Indies when there is a high profile Ashes going on, or even for the matter, World Cup qualifiers was much more intense and exciting.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, precisely as you mentioned. I think one of the reasons for that has always been obviously been the fact that West Indies has not been an high-profile Test team in a long time now. Also, the fact that I think at this point in time, able to be very frank, we're seeing this trend as people who have prepared, who make content on this space on the internet, that bilateral series no more holds that value anymore. The reason why Ashes is still that hyped up is because of the rivalry, right? Because of the history there, because it means something to the fans, to the English fans, to the Australian fans, and it's given memories along a lot of these memories. But like, I mean, as we spoke about it at the start as well, West Indies India has really not given you that many memories. I think the best
Mm.
West Indies India Test match, now that you think about it, is probably Sachin's farewell. After
Yeah,
that, how much further will we go before West Indies were challenging India in Test cricket? That's
mm.
the reason why I think this Test series has one why it's lost so much. What do you say, hype? And secondly, I also think bilateral series really don't matter as much, even if it does have a bearing on WTC. But then
Yeah.
people are really not that tuned in, because even WTC, there are many flaws there, and in many ways, I think cricket's changing, and this is being swept up. This bilateral setup is going to be swept
No,
up in
even if
that.
you look at WTC for that matter, I think WTC gets excited towards the latter end of it. Even
Exactly.
2025
I mean,
January
even
is when people are
here's
going to
the
really
thing,
tune
right?
into
When you
WTC.
have 1 year a competition is decided in a year, there's still a lot
Yeah,
of excitement. But 2 years is a long time. I mean,
yeah,
people retire, people debut in that time. Star players have become old fodder in that time.
yeah,
So many things happen. I mean, just look at this Indian team. Look at this Indian team in the previous WTC cycle. How many of those stars are playing in this very WTC cycle? Not a
yeah.
lot from the start of the previous WTC cycle. It just shows how much changes happen. But in an year, I think there's a lot more balance, because there's a lot more excitement there than 2 years. And that's also one of the reasons why WTC in the second year is more exciting.
Yeah, I agree with you. Welcome, Sandipani, on the show. As we were just talking about this being such a low-profile series, you often we don't use the word low profile, but then we have to use the word low profile because of that, because of the weightage it's carrying. On betting on the players, let it be the betting on the players, let it be the talks around the media, or let it be the hype up, or let it be the build up to the series. There's nobody really talking about India versus West Indies because of the fact that West Indies are down the drains. Okay, they can say there's some hope in the Test cricket because of the pitch they produce, and India people have just given up on it at this point. People have just come to the fact that they're not gonna. Okay, we'll support this team. They're gonna come in and choke at some stage. There's no captaincy has not been exciting. Test cricket for Team India after WTC final as looks like the captain doesn't really care about Test cricket, and the Test team looks like it's absolutely in chaos. They've called back Ajinkya Rahane to vice captain the team. The pace bowling unit looks like okay. They picked up Mukesh Kumar's done when domestic. Unadkat is there. Navdeep Saini comes out of nowhere. And even Ashwin has made a statement saying that the things are not really going well in dressing room. So a lot of these statements coming out from WTC has really made sure that fans have lost a sort of connect with the Indian team until unless something really drastic happens. For example, Virat Kohli century for that matter, where Virat Kohli goes on to score a double hundred once again like 2016, or Rohit Sharma goes on to score a double hundred. People are not going to tune in simply at night 1 o'clock to watch this match.
Yeah, I think that's also able niche fans you're talking about. I don't think India as a whole is going to be watching it a lot. I think they're just going to keep up the updates that come on.
Exactly. What do you think about that, Sandeepani?
Yeah, I think having said all that, I think we should take what we get because in this World Test cycle, I think apart from this series against West Indies, India are going to play South Africa overseas and Australia. I mean, the two other away series are against South Africa and Australia. So I think this is India's best bet to get those points rolling, and I think that is why they have fielded a team where they have sort of not rested anybody. And I totally agree with you with all the broadcast timings being late at night. Still, I mean, they are still trying to play as early as possible so that we get to see some action before going to sleep. But still, I think
Yeah.
the tuning people will occasionally tune in for a Virat Kohli century or a bowling masterclass from one of the bowlers. But it is going to be here and there. I mean, nobody is going to sit out through the 90 overs, which is a sad scenario because we had certain times. In probably take a decade back where India touring West Indies was not probably a decade but 2 decades back. I think India touring West Indies would have been a great, I mean, advertisement for cricket because uh, it's just sad because the West Indies Cricket Board, we have come in again and again, and we have said spoken about this, the West Indian Cricket Board not being able to support players, and players are not willing to stay and play for the for West Indies. Rather, they prefer going on playing the T20 leagues. Having said all that, I think it is still going to be a tough challenge for this Indian team because no matter who the selector is, the musical chairs continue. Even Ajit Agarkar, after coming in, he has continued the trend of musical chairs in that
Yeah.
batting middle order position where you rest one of the experienced players. Uh, Pujara this time, it was Rahane last time
I
around.
still think I won't blame Ajit Agarkar over here because this squad was selected before he came in. So let's just give
I
him some
mean,
bit of leeway
okay,
here.
the T20 squad was announced after he was selected, and I did not see anything inspiring from that T20
Yeah,
squad
yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah,
So I mean, this is going to stay till ODI World Cup, and after that, I think a lot of people are going to be shown the doors if India don't perform well. I so hope that they do. I mean, not they are not shown the doors that India perform. India does go on to perform well in the ODI World Cup,
yeah,
and then it's just and with the Ashes going on, I think it's been one of the more thrilling and exciting Ashes that we have seen over the last 3-4 decades. So
yeah,
probably people are drawing comparisons from the 2005 Ashes series
mm,
in terms of the quality of matches or probably the closeness of the games. All the games are turning out to be thrillers, and with that being the at the pinnacle of broadcasting right now in terms of cricket, I think all these series of Bangladesh against Afghanistan, India versus West Indies, I think I'll put them in the same category. But it is still important for the World Test World Test Championship cycle. So I think India should not take this as a joke, and I mean they are definitely going to play seriously, and I think they should focus on
yeah.
winning comprehensively, not just winning. They should look to dominate this West Indian side, because only
Okay.
then a dominating performance can some like instill some sort of belief into the current Indian cricket fans. Because after the World Test Championship finals, I think a lot of people are heartbroken, and rightly so, because the Indian team in ICC events have not given us anything to cheer about. So let's
Yeah.
hope that we start around fresh and get the wins under our belt.
Yeah, makes sense. But let's talk about the major talking points here, right? Of course, when we talk about the Indian squad, the captaincy is the first major question which we have on the cards, which is Rohit Sharma captaining again. Is he going to remain as India's captain 2 years down the line if India are playing another WTC final? That's the biggest question we have. Number one being that. Number two, Ajinkya Rahane getting called up. Now, I still can understand from that perspective if Rohit Sharma decides to hang his boots now. Ajinkya Rahane is your best interim option available, and then someone can take it over. And I personally think this could be Rohit Sharma's last Test series or the last Test series as a captain, at least. That's because India did not have an option at that point of stage. India had to maybe ask Rohit Sharma to captain for one more series before they make a call. Now, after this, India plays a Test series in South Africa. That's like 8 months away, where we're going to play Test series in South Africa at the end of the year, and it's one place where we have not won forever. We came very close on two of the occasions. Both of the occasions we lost 2-1 to South Africa. This time it's a two-match Test series rather. So if India can do something there, that'll be even a better record. So India will be traveling to South Africa later this year, and maybe that's where they'd want to make a complete difference in the squad. If it's Ajinkya Rahane leading, then well and good because he's got experience. He has won a series overseas. He's a much more experienced campaigner, and he knows how to handle a team. So that's why I think I don't really blame the vice captaincy option, but captaincy is something which we'll have to definitely scrutinize. If India goes on to have anything wrong in the series, then everything is going to fall out against Rohit Sharma. The next question is who bats number three? Is it Yashasvi Jaiswal or Shubman Gill, or is it going to be Ruturaj Gaikwad? And when it comes to keeping, is it Ishan Kishan or KS Bharat? Jen, what do you reckon about the captaincy option to start off with before we go into keeping and number three and other stuff?
Yeah, I think for me, Abel, what he said is absolutely right. I think, but then if you really are planning for a different test captain in this WTC cycle, I think before the test against Fire, that's going to be South Africa, I think the better idea would have been to give that new captain this series just to try him out, just to give him a feel of the team. So going with Rohit Sharma, it makes me feel like at least for this year, that's the South Africa series and the West Indies series, I don't really see a change until something really dramatic comes up or Rohit Sharma like he has been doing for the past few years, gets another injury in an important away series for India, which is probably where you'll see the next captaincy option come up. But otherwise, I genuinely think Rohit Sharma is the one again who's going to lead, because I mean, while I have a lot of questions against
Well,
him,
why I say that go to Rohit Sharma as big, they went with Rohit Sharma as because they didn't have other option at this point of stage. Now you couldn't have announced a new captain for the West Indies. Nobody's literally ready for it. Now Rahane, if you give him the captaincy, all of a sudden people are going to ask, he just played one Test match.
yeah, of
Now
course.
you can't go to Shubman Gill, you can't go to a Yashasvi Jaiswal. There's no ballers whom you can captain. Now if you give to Ravichandran Ashwin, the question is he even going to start in the South African Test series? So who was your
Mhm.
best option there? That was Rohit Sharma for this Test match, this Test series. Then whatever happens post the World Cup, it'll be a new cycle. I think this is still part of the old cycle. The new cycle officially will begin for India post the 2023 World Cup, which will happen in October.
I agree. I mean, while this is the thing that you've said, I completely agree. But I think at the same time, you would have had somebody in your mind by now, right? That you are going to give this captaincy to.
That is
Why
Ajinkya
would you
Rahane.
put them on the frying pan in the South Africa Test series? Be it Rahane, be it anyone for that matter.
So that's the
I
whole point, Jared.
understand the
If it is
whole. Yeah,
Rahane, you can give him in South African Test series. You don't necessarily need to give him that extra bit of time.
correct, fair
He's
enough.
been there
But
and thereabout. Now you're integrating him as a vice captain
yeah,
so
I
that
mean,
you can
even
give him
here's
the
the
captaincy in the
difference, right?
cycle.
I mean, when you go with an Australia series where Virat Kohli had to go back, now that is captaincy by chance. That is something that he had to do. There was something that was a surprise. But now when you're giving him full-time Test captaincy, or at least a placeholder captaincy, maybe something like what Tim Payne did. Now, obviously, we know that Tim Payne wasn't supposed to continue that long. It was still someone else was found. But even then, you wouldn't give him that captaincy. You shouldn't, at least according to me, give him that captaincy right away in a series. We're going to be up against it. You saw how the last South Africa series went for us. The crowd was against us, the players were against us, the conditions were against us. Now, I know Rahane is a formidable character, and I know he's not played many test matches, but if you are going with it, you might as well have given him the captaincy this time around. That's why I genuinely think, Abel, for me, I think the South Africa series, Rohit Sharma is going to continue. I think those are the two series he gets. And if even then he doesn't impress them, I think for even more than this series, I think the South Africa series is the actual test for him. If that's where
So
he
you're
fails,
telling me post South Africa is when England comes home is where you will
yeah,
see a complete change for the five
yeah,
Test
yeah.
match
I
series.
think that's for me. As if I were in the shoes of Ajit Agarkar, if I had to elect a new captain, I would be much more comfortable putting him in home conditions than in away conditions, especially South Africa. They've really
Yeah,
not
but
done.
I also think, Jaren, because you can't give captaincy to Ajinkya Rahane straight up because he's played one Test match, and I see a
Yeah, I
clear
agree.
vision
I completely
why you're
agree.
giving him vice
That's my
captaincy.
point, even. That's the reason why I'm saying give Rohit Sharma two series or don't give him either. That's my whole point.
Okay,
That's where I draw the
okay.
line.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Let's now go into the next discussion, Sandeep, which is about India's number three, right? India's number three is a very interesting conundrum. Maybe for the first time in last one decade, we're talking about who's going to bat number three for India. So Pujara was dropped for a test match in between where Hanuma Vihari was given that particular mantle of batting at number three. He was not quite impressive. Then you went back to Pujara once again after whatever he did in the county championship. Now you have an option between Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal. Both are predominantly opening batters. Yashasvi is a left-hander you get at the top of the order. And with India in the last 6 to 7 years, I've only fielded 8 left-handers. 6 to 8 left-handers. And we have the best average among left-hand batters in the world, which is 39.74, which is quite a decent stat to have. So, Sandeep, you reckon it is better to go with someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal on top of the order with Rohit Sharma and then Shubman at number three, where you still believe Shubman opening the batting in Test cricket is slightly more vulnerable to a ball coming in or a ball going away, where it tends to, chase a ball and get a nick, which is he's so strong playing through the covers, but still that aggressive intent or the aggressive approach Shubman takes can be found out in conditions where the ball moves slightly.
Absolutely. I think it's a no-brainer for me because I think Shubman Gill started off his career batting at number three itself. I mean, even in the Ranji trophies as well. Under 19s, he was predominantly playing at number three. And then after that in the Ranji trophies as well. And we have seen that Shubman Gill sometimes struggles to get going. I mean, get settled and gets out within the first 10 overs. So I would still like to see Yashasvi Jaiswal up at the top of the order along with Rohit Sharma, left and right hand combination at the top of the order. Because once Rishabh Pant is back, I think Rishabh Pant coming in and batting at number 5, number 6, and Yashasvi Jaiswal opening for the Indian team, and Jadeja coming in at number 6 or number 7. I mean, whenever the team needs him, I think that is the best place, and we can have three left-handers in that top 8, and I think all three of them are very good batters. It will be interesting to see how Yashasvi Jaiswal goes on the international circuit, because even after the under 19 success, we saw that initially in the IPL last year he was finding it a bit difficult to sort of get going initially, but then
Yeah.
he found his footing, and this season he was a revelation. He just showed us the actual Yashasvi Jaiswal what we have been seeing over the last 4 or 5 years in the domestic circuit. So I think Yashasvi Jaiswal also he opens for Mumbai as well, along with Prithvi Shaw. So I think it's a natural choice to get in that left hand right hand combination. And in West Indies, I think they can look to attack from the get go. And at number 3, Shubman Gill coming in, India trying to play a different brand of cricket. Cheteshwar Pujara. No matter how good a cricketer he was, I think he was looking to play out of his shell. He was looking to
Yeah.
play a different sort of a game, batting at number 3 for India. So I think it's a welcome change, and Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal are two youngsters that we should bet on. And I think come 5, 6 years down the line, they are going to be one of the more dominating forces in the world of cricket. So for me, Rituraj Gaikwad still will have to wait for his opportunity, and as the keeper, I think I'll still go with the KS Bharat. But I think this West Indies series should be his last opportunity, because I think he has been given a lot of scope at number 6, and especially in the Border Gavaskar Trophy before the World Test Championship finals, I think he couldn't really capitalize on the opportunity that he got at number 6, and he didn't really showed his natural game when Australia toured India. So I think this should be his last chance with that keeping position. Or if you want, you can start the cycle afresh. I think you can go in with Ishan Kishan, Shubman Gill, Yashasvi Jaiswal in your playing 11, and this will be the team to the team to look at in the next cycle as well. These three players are going to be there, therein and thereabout in the Indian team, and I think they deserve this opportunity.
Agreed, agreed. Next big question for even for Team India at this point of stage is who's going to keep for Team India, isn't it? Because KS Bharat did a phenomenal job as a keeper, but as a batter, of course, you have issues. Now, the biggest issue with him is he is not a reliable number 7. Now, when you talk about Rishabh Pant, you need a flavor of a Rishabh Pant. The best flavor you can get is an Ishan Kishan, where he can do a job if he gets going. Maybe he can score some quick runs. We still haven't seen how he goes about in Test cricket. Of course, we know he's got some major technical flaws, which we've been talking about for the longest period of time, especially against the ball turning away or maybe with the ball moving away from him in white ball format in general. But now him batting at number 6 means he would not really have to face a moving ball, but he'll have to face maybe some of the tougher spells, maybe a reverse swing spell. But the best part is the field is going to be opened up. You can go out there and play natural shots, maybe score a quick fire 40, 50. That's all you want a keeper to do at that position. And if he can get going and if he can convert it, he has played those knocks for Jharkhand time and time again in the Ranji Trophy. We have seen him do that, especially in his initial seasons in 2017-18. You reckon Ishan Kishan deserves a test debut tomorrow?
I think I'll be very frank. I genuinely think there are better keepers out there. He isn't a bad player at all. I'm not questioning his quality in that sense, but he's got a lot of technical issues. And I was just going over some of the data here. Um, I think if you look at it in many ways, I think Ishan Kishan is someone who's gotten I think an average of 35 to 40, if I'm not wrong, in first class cricket. And if that's the case, then when he comes to first class cricket in India, to a West Indies, to West Indies where you're gonna be facing the Duke's ball, it's gonna be a whole different ball game. At this point in time, India is trying to play with what they have. I would still give Bharat a chance because see, playing in England think is way more different than playing in. Playing in West Indies. Also, I genuinely believe that in many ways, you would have to say that Bharat did not get the kind of chance that he deserves. He's only being pushed away because Ishan Kishan is a flashier player.
Yeah.
Also, probably because Shubman Gill likes to exchange T-shirts with him. Maybe these are the only reasons I see.
No. Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
So here's the thing, right? I think in many ways, I was just going over some of the data on what are the
Hmm.
overs that the West Indian bowlers take their wickets.
Yeah.
And predominantly in the WTC cycle, out of the 65 wickets, most of the wickets, 13 wickets have come in the first 10 overs, which is a new ball is very difficult, is probably the most difficult one to match. But
Yeah.
then it is not like as the ball gets older, the number of wickets are shifting much. 9 wickets from 31 to 40 overs, 20 to 30 overs, you have 8 wickets. So even 81 to 90 overs, you're getting 7 wickets. So there's gonna be always consistent threat of wickets. And the only reason for that is because of the fact that they use Duke's ball in West Indies
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And Ishan Kishan has had issues with back of the length, which is exactly what Shannon Gabriel, Alzari Joseph, Kemar Roach,
Yeah.
Jason Holder love bowling. They love bowling
Yeah.
that length. They're going to keep
Yeah.
India at that length. And
Yeah.
Ishan Kishan is going to struggle there. Now,
And that's
he
why I
can
think I'll pull up the Wesley squad
go.
just for people to just look into as well to see
Yeah.
who all are going to be part of that squad.
And
I
I
mean,
think
as I was
it's
saying,
not
right,
a
I think
joke
you
that
should go
India
ahead and prove
have.
me wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Sandeep, let's
think
just finish
India.
this point.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
sure.
he can go ahead and prove me wrong because he's a flashy cricketer after all. But even someone like you can't even underestimate someone like Rakeem Cornwall. I mean, looks can really deceive, and he's someone who really knows how to hit the length, and he's
Yeah.
gonna keep testing you outside of stump. We saw in the Lucknow pitch when the ball was turning a white ball against some of the New Zealand spinners who didn't turn the ball as much. He did
Yeah.
struggle. So I think it's gonna be an exciting. It's gonna be not an exciting one, but it's gonna be a nerve-wracking one for me with Ishan Kishan playing. I understand that he's typecast as a Rishabh Pant player, but how effective is he gonna be? Because Rishabh Pant is effective regardless of how he
Yeah.
plays. Is Ishan Kishan going to be effective? Is the question.
Makes sense.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
not just about Ishan Kishan. I think the Indian top order in general has really struggled in West Indies. I think you won't find a top order batter apart from say Wasim Jafar in 2006 who haven't gone on to West Indies and haven't struggled, because last time as well, if you remember, it was the middle order that was saving India from the blues. Ashwin was
Yeah.
coming in scoring the centuries. There was
Hanuma
Hanuma
Vihari played a
Vihari
good knock
coming
there
in,
in
and yeah,
2019. So
and the
yeah.
top order was dismissed pretty cheaply as well. So I won't be surprised if India come on to bat and you see 100 for 4, 120 for 5 before Lord Ashwin comes in and saves us.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of situations do arise, and that's why I think we have to give a look into West Indies' bowling attack more than the batting attack, because I still think the vulnerable factor for West Indies is their batting attack, which is going to let them down. But if you look at the bowling attack with Alzari Joseph, Shannon Gabriel, Kemar Roach, now that's some serious pace, and just add Jason Holder's, skill as well into the mix. Now you're talking about four
I mean,
quality
there is one
pieces.
thing, Bible. I was going through the WTC data from the last year,
Yeah,
and they've really not had a good spinner as such take wickets. Rakeem
yeah,
Caldwell has joined the team recently. He's not been
yeah,
playing in the team for a long time, and
yeah,
the main threat has been Jason Holder, Alzari Joseph, and Kemar Roach. Shannon
yeah.
Gabriel, I think, is coming back from an injury spell, so it's going to be interesting to see how he balls. He can be sometimes erratic. He's that one bowler who can go for
But, but,
runs.
but
Who
if you
you
look at the
can
bowling
target.
attack, Kemar Roach and Jason Holder can be at you. They can keep bowling at one length, and
Yeah,
especially Kemar Roach has
I
got that
think I
extra
think
pace.
if you have to go after a bowler, it has to be Rakeem Cornwall one because he's coming after a long time. There's gonna be some nerves there, and there's also Shannon Gabriel who's coming after injury. And if you've seen how fast bowlers recently have come
Yeah,
back after injury and have
yeah,
struggled, so I think those are the two weak links there.
But I
absolutely. And
don't
if you
think
look,
Rakim Cornwall, even if he plays, is going to come in before the 20th or 30th over.
it also
India shouldn't be
depends on the
4 down by
pitch which
then.
is going to be available in Dominica. Remember, we're not playing a test match in Dominica since last 1 decade or so. Last test match we played
Hmm.
was when Virat Kohli made his debut in the West Indies. So that's been almost 12 years now. And when you talk about that pitch, we're still unsure as to how it is going to play out. If they're going to provide anything with a good amount of carry and good green surface, which is going to make sure Kemar Roach, Jason Holder, and Alzari gets into the game, I think that's the only way out they can get past India. I know their batting is also going to be vulnerable, but at the same time, that's the only opportunity over there. Because if they're going to provide anything which is going to turn, then Akshar, Jadeja, and Ashwin is going to come into play. Now, the interesting part is I'm pretty sure India are going to play three seamers, which will include Unadkat, Siraj, and third one, most likely, I would want Mukesh Kumar to make his debut because, see, Shardul is great, but I don't think we should be that defensive when you play against West Indies. I remember in 2016 we had Ashwin batting at number 6 for us, and we had Saha at number 7. So we had five proper bowlers, and then Ashwin at number 7. So you need to have that kind of attacking mindset, at least against West Indies. If Rohit Sharma decides to go into Shardul Thakur, I'd definitely question him again as to why he's being defensive. So let's see. I hope this new test cycle helps India to be more proactive. I mean, that's about it. We'll try to come almost every day for at least India West Indies now because India are playing finally. So
If people
we'll
are
come
interested,
close.
I mean,
Yeah, if
we'll
people
come
are
every day
interested,
if
we will
people are
definitely come.
interested.
Or
Even
else,
I think we should take a few questions that Kapil has given. We haven't really
yeah,
gone.
I really want to take that split captaincy question. I don't think that's
Yeah.
happening because Virat Kohli is now going back to
I don't think we
captaincy.
should give it back to him anymore. He's enjoying his cricket after so long. It's so nice to
Yeah,
see him happy out there, enjoying, celebrating like he used to. I don't want all that politics to come flooding back. Let him be now.
yeah. So I don't think we should look at West Indies ODI squad and Test squad, especially because both are different. Let's put it that way.
Completely separate.
Yeah.
I
And
think only one or two players are playing. I mean,
Who do
both
we
from the
have? I
West
think
Indies.
Roston Chase also doesn't play anymore in this team,
no.
test team.
So
No.
it's
So
a
that
different
is that.
squad. It's totally a different squad. It's
Yeah.
Jason Holder is a one common name which you see, and Alzari Joseph. That's it. Nobody else. So it's not a big deal. So that's where West Indies Test squad is totally different. They're a much better team than the one day team because of the conditions which helps them, and the fast ball is coming to play a lot more.
I'm
That's
excited to see Chandrapal's son because I think whatever I
yeah.
Yes.
saw of him in
It's going to be
Australia, I think
interesting.
he was really solid.
Yeah. That's going to be very interesting as to see how he goes about because he's a very interesting pick and he has done well in Australia as well. So how he
The
goes
only one
as
who did
Chandrapal
well.
troubled India for so many years. If
Yeah.
Tagnarine
Yeah,
doesn't any
that
better,
opening partnership is going to be very critical for West Indies. Craig Brathwaite and Chandrapal, I think these two will have to give West Indies a great
Well,
start.
I think given the fact that India has got very good new ball bowling attack, it's going to be a test.
I don't think so. India has a great new ball bowling attack, but
Apart
anyways,
from Mohammad Siraj, I think with Mukesh Kumar coming in, you can't
I don't
expect
No,
know.
a.
I still have to see.
I think Mukesh
I think
Kumar
Indian
is a
bowling attack is
way better
very,
bowler.
very ordinary. Unadkat is great, but I
No,
don't know how he'll
I
go
think
about it.
even Mukesh Kumar is a way better bowler than what we saw in Delhi Capitals.
Yeah, but I
He isn't
understand.
someone
Mukesh
who
No,
Kumar
goes
is
to
a great red
17.
no,
ball bowler, but
no
I
doubt. I
don't know,
think
man.
Mukesh Kumar
This
is a
bowling does
test
not
player.
excite me any good. This is not the transition I'm looking at. This is not India's future. Or else you should have given some young bees. You should have brought in Shivam Mavi and guys into the test squad. That's not
Nah,
what I'm looking at.
nah, 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 nah. You can't be saying that. Mukesh
What
Kumar
are
has
you
been
talking
sitting
about?
the Ranji Trophy
I'm
on
talking about
fire, bro.
Mukesh Kumar's red ball bowling is good, but I'm not looking at Mukesh Kumar to be your next big thing. He's
But
29, 30 now. He's
Neither
not your
is Shivam
transitional
Mavi.
bowler.
I think neither is Shivam Mavi
Shivam
is the
Mavi
next
has
big
had a
thing.
phenomenal domestic record. He's picked up close to 40 wickets. He lit the stage up in Duleep Trophy as well. And for me, he's bowling at good pace. And I'm not talking about Sharma, the
I
white
mean,
ball
what
bowler.
if Mukesh Kumar turns out to be your Scott Bolland? You should look at age.
I mean, come
What
on.
if? What if?
Uh,
No, I would
Mukesh
really
Kumar is not
be
going to play
interested to
any
see
more
a
test
Prasidh
matches for
Krishna
India
come in
once
after the
Bumrah and
injury.
Shami
I think
returns.
Prasidh.
And he's fifth in the pecking order or something. So I don't think he's
Yeah.
anywhere close to Scott Bolland. So
No,
let's
no,
not
I
bring that
think
up.
Scott
Prasidh Krishna
Bolland
is the
was
one that I'm really
far in
excited about.
pecking order able. He was never supposed to play the test match. He
See,
was
Bolland is number 4 on your pecking order.
now,
Next in the pecking order after Pat
bro,
Cummins or anybody
if I'm
who
not
gets injured,
wrong,
Bolland comes in.
it used to be Stark. Obviously Stark, Pat Cummins, Hazelwood remove them. Used to be I think who's the new New South Wales bowler? I think not New South
You
Wales
talk about
bowler.
Michael Nesser, you talk about Jai Richardson, but
Not
They
what I'm
had
Nesser.
talking about is Scott Bolland was always there. He was gonna
He
get
was
the
always
test
fifth or
debut in
sixth. We
Ashes.
never
He was
expected
very
him to
clear
do
with the
well.
season he had, but you're comparing
Only
Scott
reason why
Bolland,
they picked
Mukesh
him
Kumar
was
is
because he
totally two
was.
different things.
Only reason why they
Let's
picked him
not
was
go
because he was a
there.
specialist in
Let's not go
MCG.
there, Jaren. There are two different things in
Yeah,
Mukesh Kumar and
you
test.
will
And
see. Mukesh Kumar will prove you wrong, bro.
Mukesh Kumar is good. I've always been a fan of Mukesh Kumar. I'm the only guy who supported Mukesh Kumar throughout this live stream.
And this is
But
the
what I'm
moment you
talking about
prove.
is he's not
you
your
are
future.
supporting Abel. You are supporting Mukesh Kumar at the wrong time. He's not. He shouldn't be supported in the IPL or the T20 format.
I
I think
agree,
that
Yes,
is one
agree,
of the
Sandeep
biggest
Mani,
I
blunders
know.
to
but
get in
he's
Mukesh
not
Kumar for the
my
T20.
next
Yeah.
generation test bowler. That's what I'm trying to make a point. He's not my next generation test bowler. It is for me Prasidh Krishna, Shiva Mami. These are
Yeah,
the guys who are going to take the
I really
mantle up.
want Prasidh Krishna to come back really soon because I think it's been quite some
Yeah,
time, and I
these
think
are the
Prasidh
guys
Krishna
who are going
was
to
just
lead the
finding his
ace attack for
mojo
you.
before
Not
getting
Mukesh
injured.
Kumar, who's highly injury prone. He's had a phenomenal domestic season. Unadkat, who's at 32 years. He's not my next generation bowlers. I know they got rewarded for their great domestic seasons, but they are not my next generation. In that case, you could have gone to a Manish Pandey Test team as well for the runs he scored. So that's my point, right? If you're just
Manoj
going on
Tiwari for
stats,
that matter. I
yeah, go
think
to
I
anyone for
just
that
bring
matter.
Manoj Tiwari
Looking
from
at the next
Bengal.
generation, that's why you've gone to Ruturaj Gaikwad and Yashasvi Jaiswal. Similarly, go to the next generation of bowlers. So that's my whole point. At least you would have had Umran Malik in Test. I would not have minded that. Maybe that's the best way to try him
No,
out.
no,
He's
no.
balled
I
really well
think
for Kashmir. His
once
red
again, I
ball
think
bowling is much
India.
better. He can be a
But
tearaway fast bowler
yeah, but Abel,
compared to
I
white
think
ball.
you shouldn't I mean get in mix in the formats, because some of the injury prone players will really get injured if you ask Umran Malik to come in and bowl 12-13 overs daily. Even just
No,
if you
that's
ask
what he
him
has
just to bowl
done
12
that for
13 overs.
Kashmir consistently last Ranji
Yeah, I
season,
think
and he's
Umran Malik
really
isn't a
impressed me.
bad pick, Sandeep Ali.
He's not a
I
bad
still
pick at
think
all.
he's got a very good test career than maybe a
Yeah,
white
than a
ball
one-day career
commentator.
because he can be that
Because
effective bowler on a dead pitch, and that's
he
where
is
I
someone
personally think he
who
should have
can
gone.
keep hitting that length day in, day out as long as the captain trusts him. We
No,
saw
but I
that
think
when
he's still an unfinished commodity, right? He's still right now like a
no,
Varun
I think
Aaron when he
the
was
only way I
introduced to cricket.
see that improved Sandipani is you bring him into the test squad, don't give him a cap yet, keep him bowling in the nets,
Yeah,
give him the confidence. Tell him you are in our plans for the next WTC cycle or this
that is
WTC
still
cycle.
okay, because
As
you
long as
saw
you're
players like Natrajan come straight out of the net and play in Australia and be successful for India, because you can expect
No, I'm
people
not
who are
talking about
bowling.
Nataraj. No, he has not played a domestic game before that.
No, no,
I'm
I'm
talking
just
about someone
drawing
like
a
Umran Malik
parallel.
who's
I'm not
done
talking
that.
about Natrajan. I'm not asking Natrajan to come back to Test cricket. I'm just drawing a parallel over there. But
Yeah,
I
but
still feel
the parallel is different because with Umran Malik, he's got enough domestic games under his belt and he's played well for India A as well. So I don't think it's a bad option to go to him. And at
yeah,
least
I agree.
you can try him. That's why it did not make any
I'm
sense to go to
still
Navdeep
skeptical there.
Saini. Now you tell me why is Navdeep Saini in the squad? He's not
Yeah,
a
that
very
is
poor
a
domestic.
big shocker. I think it's one of those things, Abel, where a selector wants to be in the news still. So they select
Yeah,
someone
that
just
doesn't
so
make
they
any
get Twitter
sense.
mentions.
On that particular note, I'll end it for today. Let's see tomorrow what's the squad like. We'll come and talk about how good a day India has or how bad a day India has.
I think
See,
that's
India
I'm
not
will
not
gonna
not
happen
excited
have.
tomorrow,
anymore.
is it? It's
It
gonna happen
will
day
just
after
be lunch.
tomorrow.
Yeah, no, no.
It's
I
gonna
think
Ah,
we'll
happen
yeah,
just
day
come
after
mostly
for the
day after
tomorrow.
lunch.
tomorrow. Yeah,
If India
because thing
lose
is,
four
I'm
to
not
three
excited
wickets.
about the series, guys. I'm being very honest. My energy
Yeah.
levels are not up there to
I
talk
would
about
love
this.
to watch Australia versus England. It doesn't matter who bashes who, I get entertainment. I don't
No,
want
We're
I think
any
doing
I think
this just for the
I think
sake
we'll
of
do a
Indian
post
cricket.
match.
Nothing else. It doesn't excite me at all. This
I
series,
think we'll
it's like a
do
dead wood.
a third a post match for
I'll be
the.
very frank. This is like I think if one of your football watchers out there, it's pretty much like covering maybe I don't know if your favorite team is a Man City team, it's like covering Man City versus Southampton. You're just
Yeah,
watching it
that's
because
more
it's Man
exciting at
City.
least.
It's not
That's totally.
because you know Southampton's gonna challenge you. Southampton's
But
very
But
either
good.
way, Southampton can
don't
defeat
be
them at any
surprised
time.
if you come tomorrow and India are 100 for 5 at the lunch.
But that's the
That
thing,
doesn't
right?
matter. That is India's
It's not
fault.
supposed to
That is
happen.
India's
If it happens, it's
incapability to play
India's
red
fault.
ball cricket these days under our great coaching stuff. So, anyways, I'll talk about that later. Thank you guys and have a good night. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys.